Another day, another match day done in the FIFA World Cup 2026. Today was the first day where we had four matches in one game day, and it was a lot to unfold. But I was only able to really catch two of them properly, and the other two I slept half of the match or for the full match because yeah, man, I mean this time zone thing is not favorite if you're not in North America or South America. But anyway, the two matches that I did catch were Brazil versus Morocco and Australia versus Turkey. But just to recap, before that, we had Switzerland and Qatar drawing 1-1. That is a result I did not expect. That is the reason why I did not watch that match and slept through it, because I was expecting a comprehensive Switzerland win. It was 1-1. Apparently, Switzerland performed really well, but didn't convert the chances and were made to pay the punishment. Qatar getting the first ever point in the World Cup. And then the other match that I only caught glimpses of was the Scotland versus Haiti result. 1-0 in favor of Scotland. I expected that, but Haiti could have probably scored in that match, especially in the second half. Scotland were a little bit relieved once the full-time whistle went, but they walk away with 3 points, their first in however many World Cup attempts. But the match that I did watch, again, Brazil versus Morocco, we'll start off with that 1-1. But what surprised me here was how easily Morocco created chances, especially in the first half. I was a bit disappointed and concerned that Brazil's out of possession tendencies, in particular whenever they'd lose the ball, I felt that the transition was a bit too easy for Morocco, and they scored from one. Ball is turned over in the midfield, and it's two passes, one to Brahim Diaz, who is left open, and he's probably the last player you want to leave open from Morocco, and he finds the killer ball, splits the defense, splits the two center backs, and Saibiri with the chip over Allison. What a finish that was, and it became 1-0. And at this point, I was really shocked because, you know, Brazil in a World Cup, you expect so much more from them, especially in the group stage. And they went 1-0 down this early on. I was really concerned for them. But for Morocco, I mean, they're really, as using this match as evidence at least, they're really using that 2022 performance with their momentum going into this one. But yeah, Saibiri was excellent. I thought Brahim Diaz for the goal was excellent. But in particular, I was very impressed by their midfielder earlier today. Their number 6, I believe it was. It's I don't know what his first name is. Ayub Boadi. Wow, 18 years old, and he controlled the midfield battle. This is a midfield battle, by the way, against Casemiro, and later on Fabinho. Bruno Guimaraes was there, Lucas Paquetas there, and he stole the show, controlled everything, excellent technical ceiling on him, great with the ball, great ball carrying abilities, and wow, 18 years old, this could be the breakout star of the tournament. Um, I didn't choose a breakout star of the tournament prediction, but he might get that award if I'm going to use this game as evidence. For Brazil, not time to hit the panic button just yet, but I mean, looking at this match before the group stage, I think they would have deemed all of their group stage matches as winnable. Obviously, it's Brazil at the end of the day. They still probably will finish first. They'll definitely reach the knockouts, but it wasn't a perfect start. Morocco, first half was excellent. Second half was a little bit slower. Brazil had more control. They sacrificed a defender. Danilo came on, and you could tell Brazil were starting to just prioritize not being as open on transition, and that's why Danilo came on. They played with the deeper back four in build-up instead of a traditional back three in build-up. But yeah, I was really impressed by Morocco. And honestly, that is a group that I'm not saying it's wide open just yet, but it makes the second match day much more interesting. Scotland currently top of the group. I'd say it's between Morocco and Scotland for second. I think Morocco will still get it, and Scotland will finish third. Will that be enough to get that to as one of the best third places? We'll wait to see. But that was Brazil versus Morocco. What a game that was. I think that was the first game in this World Cup between two nations in the top 10 FIFA rankings, and it was a 1-all scoreline, but it was definitely entertaining. So that was the first game I caught this morning, 6 a.m. for my time. I took a nap between then and the last game of today's match day, which was between Australia and Turkey. And this one, if you told me Australia were gonna win this, I wouldn't be overly surprised. They beat Denmark last edition. They pushed Argentina. Beat Who did they beat? They beat Tunisia, I think, into 2022 edition. Australia have this gene in them that makes them a hard team to play against in the World Cup. But Turkey, the reason why I was so disappointed was how much of a narrative it was going into this tournament that they were dark horses, that they were underdogs, that Turkey would make a very deep run. The likes of Arda Güler, Yildiz, Ilmaz, Canologlu still there. I felt like they disappointed, Turkey. We know how rich football is in that nation, and they looked a little bit helpless today. They had so much possession against Australia. They pushed back Australia, but Australia were just happy to sit in that 5-4-1 deep block, put 11 men behind the ball, have three giant center backs winning all of their aerial duels and trying to pounce on the counters. And their two most promising counters led to two goals. The first one was such a well-taken goal on the transition. It came after a Turkey chance, which was saved by the goalkeeper Beach, who, by the way, also performed really well. But Iran Kunda running onto the end of that long ball, and he takes his finish so well. He absolutely skins Demiral for pace. Finish into the near post, was so composed. The second goal from Metcalf, I think that's how you say his name, also a really well-taken goal. And also, just like the first goal, such against the run of play that you can't really say it's an undeserved goal for Australia, though, because that was their game plan anyway. It was really down to Turkey, who couldn't convert. I felt that Turkey's game plan disappointed. They have one striker up against those three towering Australian centre backs. Harry Suter, wow, such an impressive performance as well. But Australia, they play to their strengths. Deep block, 5-4-1, three giants at the back, winning all their crosses, and pace up top to try and capitalize on. I'm just looking at the stats from this match. Wow, possession. Turkey had about 2/3 of possession. Passes, Turkey had nearly 700. Australia had 270. Shots, Turkey had 28. Australia had 8. I felt like some of those shots though were either well blocked by Australia's defense or just shots from distance randomly, like they're buying a lottery ticket. Some of them did test the goalkeeper though, and Beach pulled off a couple good saves. But this match also throwing the group wide open. So it's US currently topping the group with a goal difference lead of +3. Behind them is Australia with +2. Both of them on 3 points. Turkey and Paraguay on 0 points. That makes the USA-Turkey game interesting. Australia, I believe, will take care of Paraguay. There's a real chance that Australia could win this group. But for me right now, my impression is that it's USA and Australia as top two. Turkey, will they have enough to get out of the group? Again, Turkey were deemed as dark horses. Underdogs. They could make a deep run in this tournament. That was all the narrative I saw online, and they disappointed in this 2-0 loss. So yeah, that was my thoughts on Australia versus Turkey. So those were 2 of the 4 matches today. The matches we have tonight, again, very, very tasty. I think at 1 a.m. it's Germany versus Curacao. Interesting game, but I favor Germany for that one. And then at 4 a.m. for my time is a tasty one as well. Netherlands versus Japan. That will be a blockbuster. I cannot miss that one. After that, you have Ivory Coast versus Ecuador. Should be an interesting game as well, but I don't know if I'll be able to stay up for that. It'll be 7 a.m. It will already be sunrise by then here in the Philippines. And then the whole match, they will close out with Sweden versus Tunisia. I might be awake for then after sleeping through the Ivory Coast Ecuador game. So a lot more action to come through. This is my 3rd day in a row uploading my reactions to the match day of a World Cup. I don't know how long I can keep this up, but I'll try to do it as much as possible. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more World Cup related videos. I'll try to make as much of these as possible because, again, we only get these once every 4 years. So those were my thoughts on the recent developments of the World Cup. Thank you, and come back in the next video.